describe your last 30-ish hours and what you told the group of guys when you first met with them?
Yeah, last 30 hours has been pretty crazy. Obviously, pretty stressful for everybody. But the bottom line was we have to stay unified. I think it was a good thing for everybody to sit in a room together and realize that we have not played our expectation as of late. That's not just the players, everybody that's a part of this. And really cool for Josh to come down and be around and talk to the players. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It's another NBA moment. You deal with it. And for all of us, moving to different roles right now, 3 games, 30 games, 50 games, we gotta do the best we can. And we are in the mix here. I think people forget that. Like, they keep thinking that we didn't make the playoffs or whatever. We still have a great chance to do something special. We talked about that. The guys seem convinced. So I'm expecting a really good effort tonight.
2 things. What was Josh's message to the team when he talked to you guys? And then how much have you talked to Michael since yesterday?
I mean, to be concise, be better. And then, definitely reach out to Coach. That's between him and I. Obviously, before somebody asks me, I'll answer it. What he did for this team, best coach in history, can't argue it. Percentage-wise, wins, finals, championship. The experience he gave me, 8 years, allowing me to grow as a coach. All the guys on this coaching staff that are here, we've been together for a long time. And those guys growing up underneath us, the Jamals, Nicolas, Michael, adding Aaron, CB, what he's doing now. So what this is right now is the national narrative, whatever it is. I look at it as a hell of a run, and he's not done. So honored to work for the guy and honored to take this seat and do the best I can.
David, what is this moment like for you? Because I'm sure you did not envision these type of circumstances for you to kind of be put in this position. And also, from your vantage point, what has not been going well for the Nuggets that you're going to try to help to turn around?
I just think our overall vibe. I think that happens in professional sports. It's funny to be in Sacramento for this and know that my father was here for 8 years and to think that thing would never end, when it was going. And the vibe here was incredible. I felt like that in Portland as a kid with, not dating myself, but Terry, Clyde, Jerome, Buck, Duckworth, Robinson. It ends. Sometimes, just the feeling of it. And I think that's our goal here. It's only 3 games, it's 12 quarters, or maybe some overtimes, who knows. But I do think it's on the room to start to rely on each other in a more positive way. And constructive criticism is good. But I think there's got to be a better way to communicate with our group, and that I think will lead to better play. And it happens. It's a group of people. It's like being in a huge marriage. I mean, you're around each other so much. So this stuff happens. Pro sports keeps going. You can put all the shows on TV you want. It's going to move on to the next thing all the time. Right now, we are that thing or one of those things. But we're going to go play tonight. And there'll be a new narrative after this, win or lose, and you have to keep it moving. Professional sports is fluid, and it just keeps going. And it's tough, but as a kid that grew up in this, that's just the way it is. And we're gonna do our best to salvage this thing and get it going.
The aura that we speak about, and the vibe, getting that back, by your estimation, is the most important thing. Can it bleed into the play on the floor, better play on both ends of the floor, and how important are these next 3 games to you guys?
Yeah, excuse my language, I sure as hell hope so. Because we have to get to a better level to play in that tournament. And you guys all see it, you watch the game, you love the game. The West is ridiculous. I mean, this team we're playing tonight, I feel like they've just kind of been, under the radar because so much has been going on. I mean, they just beat Cleveland and Detroit on the road. Zach LaVine is on a heater. DeMar DeRozan's an all-star. Sabonis is one of the best centers alive. So the West is crazy, and if you want to go into that tournament, not playing at your best, you'll be done quick. So we have to understand that and lift our level of play, and hopefully along the way, it's hard to get healthy while you play, but I think if you're mentally healthy, it's easier to play physically hurt. So we got to get there, rely on each other, and if we can do that and get in the tournament, obviously we have some very dangerous pieces on this team. So we just got to get there, and it's going to be a challenge.
David, here in the back, right in front of you kind of alluded to it, but how do you define success in this role as interim head coach?
Honestly, man, keep the ship moving. Like, we have had so much success, and it's the same faces. And obviously, we all change our roles. I think that was the hardest thing for me yesterday was your first thought is for Coach and his family, Calvin and his family, and then immediately my next thought was delegation. And, where do you put responsibilities, especially, I had a lot of them, and now I have to pass it off to somebody else in 24 hours. And so when you do that, there's a ripple effect to how the staff coexists. And I think, that's the biggest thing is for me, my responsibility is to make these guys feel like it's organized. It's what we've been doing. And yes, there was a big change. We talked about it. And you have to move past it. And I think maybe you think about it more when this whole thing ends. Because like I said, this is fluid. And for all of us, it's find your role quickly and excel at it. And if we can do that, I think it bleeds onto the court and you win games.
Coach, you've been mostly involved with the offense.
Yeah.
And the offense has been humming. The concern has been the defense. Now, as the head man, can you help the defense? How much influence will you have there?
Obviously more. I mean, and that's more with game planning, in-game adjustments. Because you're right, my role the last 8 years has been the offensive side, game management, rotations. For me, the good thing is I can go back in my past, and I did the defensive side with other coaches. I've done scouts, and I've been doing scouts just on the other side. So that's not something that really bothers me. It's actually kind of fun to get back to talking about some of that stuff. And then weirdly enough for me, my job is to watch how people guard and how they guard us. And so that's all I've been doing is watching the defensive side while trying to execute offensively against the trends and things you see in our league. So, it's actually kind of exciting, to jump back into that because what I've been doing has been very consistent for 8 years, and it kind of gets your mind racing on things that you haven't had to think about for a long time.
You mentioned your dad's time here in Sacramento. How special or significant or whatever is it for you for this night to come for you here in a place where he was so revered?
Yeah, it's cool. It's obviously kind of bizarre. I think I've had a lot of moments like this. I coached the game against the Blazers years back when Coach was sick. And what I realized is I'm going to have a lot of special moments and my dad got fired a lot. So he coached in a lot of places. But no, all jokes aside, this place was so unique and special. And the style of basketball they played here was, maybe I'm biased, some of the best basketball ever played. And very forward thinking with the bigs, playing through the bigs. The guards were more scorers, and you had Webb and Blotty, Brad playing through those guys, legendary players, really crazy. It's Doug tonight, coaching against Doug. But all those guys, special to this community, and I think the cool thing is that it's still special to them. And it reminds me of Portland in that way. It's cool to come back. I mean, he mentioned it today a little bit, and I talked to him on the phone because this is a really special place for him. A lot of great memories, and it came so close here. This place really deserves something like that, and I know they're trying to work towards it.
Coach, there's been a lot of stuff that's come out since yesterday of maybe how if the team was responding to Mike, or if the dysfunction in the front office or the coaching staff. Do you feel like that contributed to any of why the team hasn't been quote unquote better? I guess Josh's message to the team, be better. Like why wasn't coming together as it had in years past? That's
a good question. Personally, I think it's each individual in there was at fault. You can try to point at people that aren't here anymore, but it's a group effort. And I think the change was more about trying to find some positive energy, as we head into hopefully the playoffs. Really important games coming, and obviously tonight as well. This is my opinion. I think there's a lot of excuses out there to try to make sense of things, and sometimes change just happens. And I think leadership felt like that. They wanted to find some juice, and this is not the first time it's happened. Obviously, it's late in the season, and there's a historic nature to it with 3 games to go. But I'll tell you this: 3 games, 50 games, 60 games. The men in that room are going to take advantage of this, and we have to look at it that way. But from my vantage point, what Calvin did, what Coach Malone did here, incredible. and they'll be missed, and their careers are not over, and you're gonna hear from them again.
David, it seems like so much of what the defensive issues have been this year, especially kind of in executing the base scheme that you guys play, is the rotations behind the initial pass. That can be an effort thing sometimes.
Yeah.
When you're in a situation like this, you've got 3 games and then potentially postseason, like, is that kind of inherently tied to improving the vibes, or do you have to kind of mess around with different schemes, look at different stuff like that? Is it reasonable to try to do that in this small of a sample size?
I think it's reasonable to try anything to win a game. So, you know, we've had a standard defensively this year. When we took steps back, we've tried to, you know, diversify things that we've done. Some of the things worked. I look back at OKC when we mixed it up there, a double shave, crossing half court. You know, we may have to do some of that. And I think as guys get older on your team, you know, you have to react to that. And we're gonna do the best we can. Sometimes it's not about being more aggressive. It's about just being in your spot earlier and being more attentive and understanding what your role is within a team defense. It doesn't have just to be everybody's got to individually lock down. It's the 4 other men behind the guy guarding the ball that really matter. And I think we have fallen back a little bit in that way. So yeah, I can sit here. I will say this: if you play with enjoyment, you play harder, you're more attentive. Those things do blend in together, and we have to find that on the defensive end. I know we can score. I know we have 15, but that end's got to get better. And on top of our defense, we've had games I thought we played great defense with great energy, and we didn't rebound the ball. So that's been the other issue with it. You have to finish possessions better, and I think those are 2 things we've talked about over the last 30 hours. So we'll see if it translates.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. Thanks, guys.